I don't want to advertise myself as being like awful, but I don't think I am. Hi, my name is Justice, and this is my first YouTube. Yay! I'm basically starting this YouTube as a cornerstone of my life that I really think started in January, but now I'm actually just documenting it. And it's just sort of my journey through spirituality and health and just life in general. I think for most people, people care about what others think of them, and that's how I lived a good portion of my life, as much as I don't want to admit that. And now that I'm 23, I'm just ready to stop living for what other people think of me and how they feel and what makes me feel good and happy about myself and confident and comfortable and, among other things. And if you can relate, subscribe, I guess. I'll be talking about, health. And if you're into astrology, I'll be talking about that too, among other things. But if you're into things like that, hit that subscribe button, because there'll be a lot of that here. And if you're not, well, I hope you enjoy anyway, I guess. I really hope that you guys, stick around, because I can think that I'm kind of a boring person, but, we'll see. I don't want to advertise myself as being like awful, but I don't think I am. But getting on to what I wanted to talk about today is the law of attraction and how you can use it to better your life. The law of attraction basically is the belief system that like energies attract like energies. So our thoughts and the way we feel, the type of energy that we put out, it attracts energy as well. So if you pull out negative energy, then that's what you get back. And if you pull out positive energy, then that's what you get back too. And literally, in short, that is essentially what it's all about. It's about changing your mindset to get the outcomes that you want to get. And it's not as much as about receiving as it is about just making yourself into the best person that you can possibly be, making yourself more confident, making yourself more positive, being that go-getter that you always want to be. Like that person that's in your head that keeps telling it's like that alternate person that you have in your head that's doing really good, and that you want to be that person but you don't know how to get there or whatever, is that person but living that on the outside. And going to talk about how to get there. I mean, I'm still trying to get there. I'm not perfect, of course, so I'm not all the way there, but I can talk to you so we can get each other there. And one of the main ways to use or to implement the law of attraction is through meditation. It's been proven that meditation helps to reduce anxiety. It increases happiness and acceptance. It helps to be more self-aware. And if you don't know what being self-aware is, it's essentially kind of being one with your thoughts and feelings, and kind of really getting into the root of what you feel, how you feel, and if it's bad, how to get rid of it. I think a lot of the times we kind of walk around with our heart on our shoulder, and we don't even know that we're doing that. It's like we're irritated and don't know why we're irritated. And sometimes just taking a moment to like breathe and turn off your television or whatever, and just like really get to know yourself or whatever, it helps. Like you realize, like, why do I feel tense? Why do I feel some type of way or whatever, like, and it helps you deal with those feelings. It also promotes a healthy lifestyle. Try meditating. I swear it helps. I'm not perfect. I ain't do it every day, but I do it sometimes, and it makes me feel generally really good. In addition to that, you have to stop doubting yourself. you know, it's natural to sometimes have negative thoughts, but, you know, it's really just about not letting it consume you. The big, I think the overarching idea is, you know, it is normal to feel out of place and it is normal to feel like, I can't do it. But you have to get over that hump and do it anyway, because you miss all the chances that you don't take when you don't put yourself out there and do the things that you want to do. And it's not even just about doing the things that you want to do, but it's about like taking control of your life and just being happy just because you can. Like, you know, why? And I had to learn that too. Like, I found myself for like a while just feeling generally irritated. And it's like, why don't I feel happy? And I know this isn't the case for everyone, but honestly, social media was just making me feel depressed. And so for a little while, I just had to like, just stop. I had to stop reading comments. And I found myself oftentimes getting into like arguments with people online. And it took me to like, be like, I was like sitting and I just felt irritated and I just felt like, ugh, why do I feel like angry at the freaking world? And I'm just like, and honestly, it was just like the content that I was like reading or whatever. And it took me to realize, you know, everyone has an opinion or whatever. And sure enough, their opinion might be shit or whatever. But for every person that agrees with me, there's going to be like 100 other people that disagree with me, and I cannot spend my life arguing with the entire world. I would rather spend my life making my life better and improving my life and improving the lives of those who experience the same struggles that I do than argue with someone about why my personal struggles and why the things that I believe in matter to me. And that's essentially what it's about. It's about basically putting a positive spin on the negative things in your life. And that doesn't mean that negative things won't happen. It just means that you can deal with them and you can adjust to them better than holding just a lot of negativity within you. Another way of implementing the law of attraction is just generally being sure of yourself. Don't doubt yourself. It's totally normal to feel like, oh, I can't do this, or feeling out of place, but you can't let that consume you. You have to get over that hump and just do it. You miss every shot that you don't take, and it's important that you don't doubt yourself so you can get over that hump. And ways that you can do that is by writing down your goals. They say that people who write down their goals tend to achieve them more, and I agree with that. If you expose yourself to the things that you want long enough, you're going to figure out how to get it. But it starts with you with being sure of yourself. And you can't just say that you're sure of yourself. Like, you have to like write that down or make it known or make a vision board. That's what a lot of people do. I've seen people, like, if you're more hands-on, then, you know, a lot of people, they'll cut out pictures of magazines, print out pictures, or they'll post like, they'll put like really inspirational words on a poster or something like that, and they'll leave that in front of them or somewhere that they could pass by and see that every single day. And like every day that you pass by that, it's like subconsciously, it's like your mind tries to get you there. So when you're at work, it's like you have a different attitude about yourself, or maybe it might inspire you to, you know, save a little bit more of your money, you know, to get that thing that you want. You'll work harder. You'll figure out how to get there if you're exposed to that thing every single day. If you're exposed to visions of that every day. And I think that that's really important, because if we're not like, you know, actively looking at and actively trying to, you know, get to where we're trying to be, then we won't be motivated to do it. It's just like when you're still like stuck in a stagnant place and you're not like really looking, the only thing that you're really looking at is like, you know, same old, and nothing in your routine has changed, then nothing really changes. Because I mean, like, you kind of stay kind of content. You're not exposed to it. You get used to what you have now instead of looking towards what you could be working towards. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, like a material thing. It could be like, you know, spending more time with, figuring out how you can spend more time with your family, or, you know, something like that. It doesn't always mean, you know, money or a job or a car or a house. It could mean plenty of other things. And in addition to that, you also have to believe it and show gratitude. You know, it's not, the law of attraction isn't just about receiving as much as it is about just being the best self that you could possibly be. It's about really just bettering yourself and being happy in the most purest form. Now, I don't like to use the word content, but a part of it is also it's a balance of being content where you're at, but using that happiness with being content to also know that while I'm happy here, I can still, elevate myself and be happy here. It's not necessarily, it's not living in a state of want. So even though you're here, even though you're right here and what you want is right here, it doesn't make you like depressed that like what you want is up here and you can't, and that it's like you can't achieve it. It's about like, I'm happy with where I'm at and I'm going to achieve it. It's like when you live in a state of want, you always want or whatever. But when you live in a state of you will go find a way to go do it. And that's essentially just what the law of attraction is putting out those positive vibes and receiving positive things, positive opportunities, things opening up for you that you want. One of the things that I see happen often is people misunderstand the law of attraction, or they misuse it, if you know what I mean. And one of the number one things I see is that they don't put their thoughts into action. So it's one thing to think positively, and that's a good start. And it's one thing to talk positively, and that's also a good start. You should totally do that, especially if you're just beginning. But it's an entirely different thing to actually implement those things. So it's kind of like your car. Like, you love your car, you just got it, it's the best thing in the entire world, and you talk about your car all day long and how fast it can go. But, are you cleaning your car out? Are you putting gas in it? Are you getting the oil changed? Are you doing the proper maintenance on the car so it can continue running right? And when we're talking about yourself and the energy that you possess, is the same way. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you really like all mentally there? Is it not just talk? Are you not just talking about crap that you don't really believe in yourself about? And essentially it's just like you can't just talk about it, you have to be about it. And I feel like this point was made really well in a book that a friend of mine recommended to me. Shout out to Andrea. The book is called Black Pearls by Eric Coppage. Daily Meditations and Affirmation for Inspiration for African Americans. But honestly, it could probably be for anybody, but Anyway, the section was about action, and it made a point to say, we sometimes talk a matter to death. We revel in our powers of observation and analysis, our astuteness in assessing the situation, and our psychological insight into its cause. What we really need is action, because talking out a thing is not the same as fixing it. So basically, it was the same thing as I was saying before. You can talk a big game, but you really have to go out and be a go-getter and go after what it is that you want out of life. Like, sitting and talking about it is great, and it is a really good start. Like, it does have its place, but, going on that interview, and taking that chance, or going ahead and starting your own business is just as important. Take the steps to do that too, even if it seems impossible. Like, even if you don't have the money to do it now, hey, write up your plan. 2, doing things with bad intentions. It's, again, one of those things where you can talk positively, but if it's not up here in your mind or whatever, or you don't really, it's not in your heart, people can tell when you're being fake. It's like when you're smiling in someone's face, but knowing that you really don't like them. You know, it's like no one likes when someone's being fake. It's like you're either all there or you're all not, or whatever, and you can't fake it. It's like it's really not much more you can talk about that. I think a good example is I don't think being self-influenced is not a bad thing. I think everyone naturally is a little selfish. So like you get a job not because you like the establishment, but because you need the paycheck to pay your bills. And that's normal and that's fine because we all do have bills. We all need that paycheck. But it becomes an issue if, say, you're at that job and you're trying to get promoted, and it's like, okay, you're doing everything really good, but you're doing it to shit on the person below you. Like you're throwing that person under the bus so that you can make yourself look good and you know, get that management position or whatever. And that's when it becomes like you're doing it with bad intentions. Because there's no positive, like sure enough it looks like you're smiling in people's face, but really it's like you're throwing people under the bus in order to get what you want, and that's not how the law of attraction works. That's just you being shady. My third point is don't use it to victim blame. And I see this a lot, and it's most of the time, I see it most of the time used with guys talking to other girls. They oftentimes will, someone might open up to them and be like, oh, you know, me and my boyfriend broke up, so and so and so, and then they'll say something along the lines of, well, maybe it's just the energy that you're giving off and you're just attracting, you know, awful people. But the thing is a lot of the time it's coming from people who don't know you. And the law of attraction is mostly about self. So how could someone else tell you what you're attracting and what you're doing with your life if they don't even know you personally? You know, they've already decided in your head that, you know, that they know more than you and that you're superficial and obviously you're not doing something right. And don't ever let someone make you feel bad for, you know, something that you couldn't control. It's like sometimes, you know, when you are a really great, awesome, positive person, really shitty people are attracted to you, and sometimes, you know, it can fool you. You can get caught up in all that. And you shouldn't let someone, like, it's like they're making you feel like, oh, you were the awful person that, you know, attracted awful things or whatever. And sure enough, it's just like, yeah, if you are like, you know, a generally negative bad person, it can attract bad things. But if you know that you're not, no one else can tell you that you are, you know, either, because that's not how. You can't tell me about me. I know, only I know me, especially if I don't know you. Like if you don't know my middle name, don't tell me about my life. For you to already assume that I just must be like this awfully miserable person, and that's why like I'm like awful miserable people are attracted to me, is first off, most awful miserable people aren't attracting other awful miserable people. They're usually attracting, or they're usually gravitating towards like really good people, because like that's what they're missing in their lives or whatever. But, and to go with that, the last thing is to not blame yourself. Like, not even talking about others, but just talking about when things do, you know, when shit does hit the fan or whatever, that it isn't your fault. Like, oftentimes people forget that you have, like, yin and yang, and that, like, no matter how great or whatever things are going, that, you know, sometimes, you know, like, life throws its punches and you get hit. And it's not your fault. You didn't do something wrong to gain that negative energy or whatever. Sometimes it is just something that happens. But to sum things up, the law of attraction essentially is being your best positive self. And, you know, life isn't going to be 100%, you know, like that. Like, you know, it's human nature to think of both sides of, you know, of life and to think a little negatively, but just don't let it consume you, you know? And in addition to that, just, you know, don't be a jerk and put in the work. I mean, it rhymed unintentionally, but don't be a jerk, put in the work. Maybe I need to put that on a t-shirt. But I'll just end it on this note. I guess next week I'll probably talk about how I've actually implemented that in my life and how I've improved my life with it, because I don't want to make this video like a whole freaking hour long or whatever. You should go on, get outside, get some fresh air, you know, some sunlight. I know some of you guys need it. But if you like this video, subscribe. If you want more, if you want videos similar to this one, hey, you know where to find me. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, what I could do better. Do you think this hat is a hot mess? Tell me. All right, guys. Bye.